Imagine being able to build the tool you need.
Hey guys, good morning everybody. Today is Thursday, August 7th. It is 6:25 right now. We got market opening up in about 5 minutes. So I'm gonna go ahead and mark this up real quick. This is gonna be the breakout strategy that I was looking to test. The new one, I'm not really taking it, I'm testing it to see how it plays through. So got that right there set up. Go over here and mark up the liquidity. And right here down below. All right, cool. So everything looks good. Yeah, so as you guys can see, and people will see as people start to join in, this screener down below is the thing I was talking about yesterday. See how right here how it's all pretty much bullish? It's bullish on the 5 minute, 15, 30, 1 hour, 4 hour. The 1 minute here is still neutral, but this is showing that a lot of the overall bias here is bullish. So I'm going to be looking for possible buys um, today. So, well, at least for now, unless these things start to shift. So I'll be looking for some possible buys when market opens up. Right now, we currently have a pending sell signal here. So depending on how this candle closes and the next couple candles close, that'll determine the direction of the momentum breakout. So we'll see what happens here in a few. But good morning, everybody. Today is Thursday, August 7th. It is 6:26 right now. We got market opening up in about 4 minutes. Um, Yeah, so just there's a lot of things here to look at today. Looking over here at the overall direction of bias, overall key market bias is bullish neutral, kind of lines up with my technicals over here. We got pretty much a couple areas of structure up here. We have structure down here, which price is currently in right now. Looking at the overall trend, right now the 1 minute, 5 minute, 15 minute, all bullish, 30 minute, 1 hour. 4 hour, a little bit mixed. So we have the 30 minute, 1 hour bullish. 4 hour here is more on the neutral side, but shifting up to bullish and more on the bullish neutral. So buys here do look good overall with regard to the trend and with regard to market structure right here. So again, if you guys are just joining in, down here is going to show my little scanner showing the overall direction of price on the 1 minute, 5 minute, 15 minute, 30 minute, 1 hour, 4 hour. This identifies market structure, not necessarily the trend, but it identifies market structure. Um, so that's kind of what I'm looking at there. Plus the trend that we're using is going to help as well. Hey, Jonathan, morning. Morning, Daniel. Morning, Steven. Morning, Ben. Morning, Chris. Morning, Lila. Morning, everybody. All right, guys, we got market opening up in about 2 minutes. Right now, depending on how this candle here closes, this will determine where the momentum breakout will be going. Right now, it's a pending sell signal. So if this closes with a sell signal, the momentum breakout is going to be a sell. I'm not really looking for sells right now, though. I'm going to be looking for some buys because overall market structure here is bullish. And Steven is ready for the orb. Yeah, I'll be looking for the orb as well. So I'll be waiting for that as well with you. All right, guys, market is about to open in a minute. Momentum breakout for today is going to be a buy if you guys are looking to take it. So buy entry for the momentum breakout. I'll be looking for the orb in a few minutes once it's set up. It's not ready to go yet, but it's going to set up soon. Um, and we'll see where it ends up going. Yeah, I think this is going to shoot up. This is probably going to spike up in a few. We got a lot of liquidity sitting up here. We got liquidity on both sides. The ATR is currently at 11 right now. Overall direction of market structure right here is bullish. You can see the 1 minute's currently bearish, but everything else is bullish. 5 minute, 15 minute, 30 minute, 1 hour, 4 hour, everything's bullish here. So I'll be looking for this here to swing back up. So we got market open right about now, and market is now open. So go and mark this up as the opening price. Wes is asking, hey Sean, can you remind me what copy you're using? I'm using Replicano. So if you want to use that, it's in the Discord. Just go over here. Go over here to frequently asked questions. And the copy that I'm using right here is Replicano. I'll put that in the chat. It's for NinjaTrader. All right, so price spiked up right there real quick. We're getting a little bit of a spike back and forth right here on this opening candle. Overall direction of market structure here is still bullish, so I'll be looking for some possible buys. The orb here is going to start to set up soon. See the orb low right there, possible orb high right there. So I'll be looking for price to possibly break above this area right here for entry. I'm mainly looking for buys at the moment because the overall market structure is bullish. And the overall trend is also bullish. So we got price coming down kind of sharply over here for the orb. All right, so price is coming down, pretty much grab liquidity down here. Looks like we got a liquidity sweep right there. Yeah, that was a pretty strong sweep. Yeah, liquidity sweep right there. I would have looked for a buy, so that's exactly what I would have looked for entry. But I'm still pretty bullish right now. All right, so we got price pushing up right now. This entry right here for the orb is going to line up with a high-low break and retest, which is going to be at, yeah, same exact price. So if this breaks above here, this is going to line up as a high-low break and retest, plus it's going to line up as the orb entry. So I'll be looking to get in right here at 44,567. Yeah, 44,567. I'm looking for price to break and close above here. As soon as it breaks and closes above this area, I'll put my pending limit order right here for a buy at 44,567, and I'll try to get into this for a buy entry. It's right here looking like it's going to close. We have about 17 seconds on it. So I'll be watching it right here. It looks like it might be overextended, so I don't think I'll be able to get into this orb here, guys. Yeah, this thing's too overextended at this point. It shot up way too far up. So unfortunately, I'm not going to be taking the orb. If you guys want to take the orb, you guys can take it. Entry is going to be right here at 44,567. Yeah, so the orb is going to be right here, guys. 44,567 if anybody is looking to take that. Unfortunately, this is overextended, so I'm not looking to take it. But if you guys do still want to get into it, your orb entry is going to be right there. 44,567 is where your buy limit should be waiting. Looks like it's probably going to come down and fill it right now and possibly swing back up. For the high-low break and retest, if this doesn't fill on this very candle, then there's not going to be an entry there. So the high-low break and retest actually just filled right now. But like I said, it was a bit overextended, so I'm not looking to get into this position here. This candle here is just too big, this green one. So I don't want to get in here on this possible fake out. Yeah, so there goes the high-low break and retest right there, guys. It lines up exactly with the orb entry. It's currently running in profit right now. Yeah, that was a big spike. So it's running in profit right there. This is actually a really good orb entry. It filled it retraced to the halfway mark, and then it shot all the way back up. Yeah, if only this candle here wasn't so big. The reason why I don't like taking entries like that is because if the candle's so big, it'll typically retrace either to the halfway mark or to the full candle before coming right back up. So I didn't get into that position there. It looks like it already hit 30 points. So if it did hit 30 points right there, which it did, you should move your stop loss and profit to 10 points. So stop loss should be moved in profit already, guys, if you guys did look to take that right there. We're currently in the supply zone, supply slash resistance. But you guys can see here how price is kind of bouncing back and forth. This is because of what I just mentioned, right? So I'm playing it safe here. See how market here is super choppy. It's not a smooth push all the way up. It's a little too choppy right there. So the other breakout entry that I mentioned right here looks like it hit already. Yeah, this is the one that I was looking to test. Looks like it shot all the way right through. Overall direction is still bullish, guys. So I'm going to be looking for another opportunity for entry here. So the overall direction here is still bullish, as you guys can see. 1 minute's bullish, 5 minutes bullish, strong bullish, 15 minutes bullish, 30 minutes bullish, 1 hour is bullish, and the 4 hour is bullish as well. So if you guys are looking to take entries here, I would preferably look for buys only. Looks like you have gone stopped out here in profit already, guys, for this position because the trade did hit, or actually it hit the full 40. Okay, so the full 40 hit right there already. Orb hit full TP right there for 40 points. All right, so we are going to look for the next opportunity here. Hey, Brock. Perfect. Yeah, share the analysis with me, bro. That'd be great. Steven said, is there another orb that we can take or normal orb for the day? No, Steven, it's only one today. So that is the only orb which came up. Didn't actually come up completely, but that's the only position that came up today for the orb. The breakout hit TP though, so if anybody took the breakout right there, the regular breakout, market open right here. Yeah, the regular one hit right there for 50 points. Yeah, it's all good, Steven. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Come back tomorrow fresh, and then we'll see if we can get the orb in tomorrow. So momentum breakout right here hit full TP for 50 points. If you wanted to go for the full 100, it's still running, but 50 points hit already. The orb over here did not fill for us, guys. Like I said earlier, the orb here, because it was overextended, decided not to take it. You can see that price again is stuck within the orb range again right now. All right, back to our normal chart. I'm going to clean this up right here. It looks like we had a sweep up here. Price swept and it came right back down. So we had a sweep down here. We had a high-low break and retest right here. Another sweep right here, which price came right back down. I'm going to clean up this sweep because it's over with. We're just stuck within this middle range right now, guys. So price is pretty much ranging between the supply and demand up here. Up and down within this area. In order for me to take some entries, I'm going to look for price to break out of this area and push up higher. Um, Yeah, we'll see what happens. Let's see. Sam said big expansion during London. Can it range in New York? Any thoughts? Yeah, I could see that. So there's two things that I can possibly see what happened there, Sam. It's either going to range like you mentioned, or it's going to continue to the upside. Personally, I think continuation to the upside would be more ideal. But like you said, it can just range here for a bit before it does push up. But I think eventually, if it does push up, because I'm looking for buys here, I'll be looking for buys along the direction. Nice. Yeah, and Sam also got the sweep there for full TP. Nice work, Sam. Hussein said morning, nice shirt. Yeah, thanks, Hussein. Morning. All right, so looks like I'm going to keep looking for buys here, guys. The overall market structure here is bullish for me. Looking over here at the overall trend, also bullish, right? 1 minute is bullish, 5 minutes bullish, 15 minutes bullish, 30 minutes bullish, 1 hour is bullish, and the 4 hour here is bullish as well. So I'm going to be looking for some buys here as price continues to, swing back up. Possible sweeps down here if price ends up coming back down. But my overall market structure here is bullish, as you guys can see. So what I might see right here is if price comes back down, look for a possible sweep around this area. Well, I mean, it basically swept right here off the demand. Now I just realized these are the wrong colors. Yeah, so price actually swept off that demand right there. PC is bearish right now. Okay, we'll see. Yeah, temporarily. Okay, I see that. Yeah, my market structure is just bullish across the board. You guys can see my ticker down here. So this is what I was talking about yesterday, guys. I'm trying to build this tool here where it identifies market structure. So you can see it's very bullish over here. It's above the order block, above structure. The volume here is very high. Fair value gaps are outside to the upside. Looking at the premium and discounts, prices above the middle area. And liquidity grabs for bearish right now. So we do have some grabs over here from the top. That's why price is coming down. But we'll look if this here ends up swinging back up. This stuff is just a confluence. It's not meant for you to take entries off of. It's just for confluence to look for price to kind of retest areas. This is where I'm going to be looking for price to possibly sweep. Kind of basing it off this liquidity, this lower low right here. So right there's this black line, possible sweep right there. I don't know if it'll be strong or not, but I'm just looking at this as a possible sweep area. Of course, I would go for the extremes though, so I wouldn't go from right there where that lower low's at. I would go from wherever the structure's at, so it'd be probably this lower, higher low right here. But I was just looking at that as a possible sweep area because it looks like price was respecting that little level right there for a while now. Like right here, rejection, rejection, rejection. And then possibility of a push back up. But we are spiking down right now. I'm not sure what's causing the spike downs right now. Let's check the news. So we had jobs data over here at 5:30. It was negative. We have the Fed speaking at 7 o'clock. It's a little bit of mixed data. Let me go over here and mark this up real quick, the 5:30 candle. Okay, so it looks like price here is coming back down to retest the news price. It looks like price has rejected off this level a couple times. This is the 5:30 news rejection right here and rejection right here, or basically a double sweep from this area. So I'm going to clean this up right here. Yeah, clean that up right there. Looks like we're getting a new demand zone right here. Yeah, so we got some demand down here. All right, looks good. So I'm going to clean this up. All right, we got price kind of just sitting down here right now. I think this is going to be a pretty strong demand zone or order block, whatever you guys want to consider it. This could be considered a demand zone, order block, support. Again, whatever you guys want to consider it. I think it's a pretty strong zone for the most part. Looks like price basically swept off this area too. We had a lower low right there. Price came down, swept it, and came right back up. If you're basing it off the ATR, ATR is like 25. So 25 points right there for a quick sweep. Price here is still trying to push down lower. Another sweep right there. So there's a quick sweep right here for 25 points. And then it looks like another sweep down here as well from that other lower low. But let me clean this up a little bit. Again, I'm looking for buys here still, guys. The overall direction of structure right here is still very bullish. The short term is bearish though. So right now, currently it is bearish. I don't know if there's news here causing price to spike like this. I know there's a lot of tariff news that's happening behind the scenes. Like that's the only thing I can literally think of at the moment because there's a lot of tariff, yeah, right here. So here's the breaking news. Stocks jump after Trump's chip tariffs have brought exemptions. Yeah, because if you guys looked at Trump's tariff uh, on chips, it was like 100% tariff, which is crazy. Yeah, right here. Trump announced late Wednesday that there would be a 100% tariff on imported chips, but not for companies that are building in the US. Yeah, so of course that's going to, attack a lot of these. Like Nvidia is part of part of the Dow and AMD. So we'll see. Nvidia, Apple, etc. I mean, Nasdaq is probably spiking all over the place right now too. The 5 minutes now down to neutral, guys. So we'll see what happens here in a few. Price is breaking past this area, so we'll see if this, if this here ends up holding. Let's clean up this liquidity. We got another liquidity right here. This is a pretty messy market, honestly. I was hoping that it wasn't going to be this crazy today, but it's pretty messy because we're getting a lot of these big spike candles. So this candle right here is pretty huge. This big red one. This big red one over here was about let's see, it was a 61 point candle. It's a 1 minute candle for 61 points. It's causing the ATR here to go up pretty high. So the ATR is currently at 27 right now. This is going to be a little tricky because our stop loss is set to 20. So if the ATR is higher than our stop loss, it's going to be really easy to get stopped out of positions here. So I'll be playing it safe, not going to hop into anything here too crazy. Let's see, PC said it's not news, it's liquidity pools being cleared. PC said, yeah, I see morning session going lower than sweep to the upside in noon. Yeah, I mean, I could see that. I think overall price is going to swing back up. I think this here is like temporary. This drop to the downside. This is going to lure in some sellers here. Price is probably to swing right back up, back to open. I mean, my overall direction here is still, for the most part, bullish. Jonathan said, do you think price is inducing us to take the sells and then shoot back up? Yeah, I agree, Jonathan. I think that's what's going to happen here. I think right here they're trapping sellers. Once price drops enough and they trap enough sellers here, I think price is going to swing right back up. That is exactly what I see happening here. So it looks like we have another demand slash support down here. So it looks like price swept this liquidity right here, guys, as you guys can see. Pretty much swept this blue line right here, and it's coming right back up. The next target for it to push up, if it does push up any higher, is going to be the or push down any lower is going to be this sessions right here. But it looks like price is sweeping off this liquidity, this blue line. Yeah, and it's pushing right back up. So what I'm going to look for here is for price to break past this area and continue pushing up from here. We got a structure up there. All right, so still nothing for me to take here, guys. I'm kind of just waiting for price to establish some sort of opportunity for entry, but we just don't have that here right now. Yeah, I don't see anything here at the moment. Nice, Sam. So Sam's been like trying to catch these sweeps here. Um, yeah, Sam hopped into the sweep over here at 434. Nice work, Sam. So Sam got into a sweep right here. It got in and out very quickly. So he got into like a very similar sweep here, a little bit higher than what I marked up. My sweep over here was at 430. He got in at 435, got in and out for 15 points. So nice quick in and out right there, Sam. And then Sam over here is also looking to get in at 418. So he's trying to catch these sweeps around all these areas down below. Ideally, I'm still looking for buys because the higher time frames are still bullish. You know, the 1 minute and 5 minute, it can be bearish for right now, but I think eventually it's going to swing back up. Looking over here at my daily outlook for the day, key overall key market bias is bullish neutral. A couple of pointers here is pre-market action showed push to the upside with regard to the chip exemption. Labor market isn't cracked yet. Weekly jobless claims rose modestly, so small jobless claims right there. And then the Fed rate cut expectations remain intact amid weak jobs data. So with that said, I mean, it looks like price here should be shifting back up eventually. This is based off the fundamentals. And then based off the technicals over here, market structure is still pretty bullish with every time frame above the 15-minute or above the 5 minute. So I'm expecting price here to push up higher. I'm not looking to take any trades right here specifically because you guys can see that we have the sessions right here, a bunch of red flags. So what I'd like to see here is I'd like price to push up a bit higher, maybe retrace down a little bit, come right back up, and provide opportunity for entry there. Cool, yeah. So Sam's currently at one loss and two wins so far. Nice work, Sam. Yeah, I mean it's a tricky market, so I don't, you know, with the especially with the sweeps here, because the thing is like these big spikes to the downside, they're I wouldn't say they're random, but you know, they're kind of just popping up. I don't know. I would have expected a range to just kind of sit right here down the middle, not a drop down here, but basically what happened was price broke down and then now it's ranging down here. So I think if price pushes back up, it's probably going to range right here for a bit and then possibly go back up higher. Another possible sweep right here at the 430. So for me, whenever I get these sweeps, I try to go for the extreme. So I think, you know, I wouldn't go for that sweep right there. I'd go for something either down here at 418 or 415. Even though I typically don't look for sweeps, that's generally what I'd be looking for. Barack said, yeah, so I'm working on this right here. I don't think this is going to be open to the public though, because this is mainly going to be used for like the hedge fund accounts. I mean, maybe at some point in the future, I'll make it available to the public. But right now, I think this is a pretty strong tool that I'm going to be using for myself, not necessarily for the public, because this thing took me a while to build, and then I had to pay a lot to get this put together. So you can see here, it's pretty nice because it covers a lot of things, right? It gives me a nice. I could even add more stuff to it, but. This gives you like the change in price, gives you the rating, structure, order block. I don't even trade order blocks, but I just put it into an indicator. Um, Order block volume, fair value gaps. I don't trade fair value gaps, but I like looking at it here just to have an idea of like where it's at. Uh, Premium and discount. This is pretty much the high point to the low point, and liquidity grabs. So. Yeah, it's not really available to for anybody else to use right now. It's basically a copy of another tool. That's why I can't share with the public because it's not this one is not specifically my tool. Um, Kind of like I don't want to say I'm ripping it off, but I am using it, trying to make my own copy of it basically. Yeah, because this is a paid tool from another company, and I'm basically so what I did was I paid for some tools from these other paid companies. And I was looking to see, I was trying to get ideas, right? Because what I wanted to see here is I wanted to see the overall market structure. I already have overall trend here. So like we have this here to identify trend, but I wanted to see something where I can see overall market structure. This is why I can't share this right now, Brock, because this isn't my tool. I have a tool that I'm building that's very similar to this. I'm basically pulling, logic from it and basically build like the same thing, maybe change things a little bit, stuff that I don't care about as much. But I think overall, this is a good tool to just to use for confluence, especially to know which direction to be trading in. So we have an overall bullish trend. We have overall bullish market structure. So I'll mainly be looking for some buys here, of course. Nice, Brock. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. So the change of character right here, retest the breaker structure, and it shot all the way back up. Nice. Yeah, it's a solid setup right there, Brock. Yeah, I'll also try to get my coder to work on that as well. I know you want to have it on different platforms. I think that's where it's going to be kind of hard because a lot of this stuff is mainly on TradingView. Because I'll have to build one for NinjaTrader for myself, and then you're using Quantar, I believe, or Sierra, actually using Sierra. Yeah, Brock said that's cool. It's a great tool. I do most of those manually on TradingView. Yeah, no, exactly. Like I know you do these manually, but you know how much work it would be doing it on six different time frames, right? That's why for me, I'm just creating the exactly, yeah, too much time. That's why for me, I'm just using this as a confluence, not necessarily for entries or analysis. And then I'm using my high-low break and retest as my entries. So yeah, right here, guys, we have a possible high-low break and retest setting up at this lower high. The only problem with this here is that it's going to be at the sessions, right? So if you guys are looking to take this here as a high-low break and retest, I mean, feel free to take it, but like I just mentioned, this is going to be kind of tricky because this is an area of manipulation. So you might get a high-low break and retest right here, but even with that said, this here is going to be a tricky area to be taking that specifically. The trend right now is pretty weak. So I'm looking over here at the trend right now. The 30 minute is trending up. It's the 15 minute actually. So the 15 minute has a pretty nice bullish uptrend. The 4 hour has a bearish downtrend. The rest of the time frames are pretty much ranging right now. So I have this one screener right here, but I have two other screeners that I'm looking at as well. So I have another screener that kind of identifies reversal zones, specific strategies, identifies the strength of trend. I have another screener that looks at order flow, money flow, reversals, and divergence. So I just have this one here that I'm sharing with you guys, but I have three other screeners that I'm actually looking at on another screen. I have three screens here, and I have one full screen with just all my screeners where I can kind of see where price is going. So I can see here that price is pushing up. And this lines up with my other screener. So we got price pushing up right here. There's a possible high-low break and retest off this lower high. If anybody's looking to take that, again, I'm not really looking to take entries here because it's right at the sessions. With price being right at the sessions, this can be a possible area of manipulation. Yeah, possible area of manipulation right here. I'm gonna clean this one up. All right, so if this closes right here, guys, the entry for high-low break and retest is going to be at 44,480. So if you guys are looking to take it, your limit order for right here for a buy would be at 44,480. Not in this position right here. Like I said, it's at the sessions, a lot of area of manipulation right there. And you can see our price is getting heavily manipulated. So textbook manipulation right there. This is a specific area that I wouldn't be looking to trade at, mainly because of the sessions. And you can see right there where price got manipulated and it came right back down. So dodged a bullet right there, but obviously I had expected this to happen. And right here, this is a huge candle to the downside, almost 50 points. All right, now we wait. Again, we wait for something here to come up and present itself. And I'm tired of this choppy market. I'm ready for summer to be over with. We're still good for the week though, so I'm not really forcing anything here. So again, if you guys are just joining us for this week, here are my stats for the week. I only took one trade this week so far. I took one trade on Friday, or sorry, not Friday. I took one trade on Tuesday. It was the orb entry right here, hit my full TP, so I'm up 47,300 for the week. So I'm not really looking to force anything here unless something looks really good. Um, especially because market structure here is still bullish and price is kind of sitting down in this middle area here. Um, like I said earlier, price may just range within here. I'm looking for price to break above and continue up higher. So in order for me to take some trades, I'm looking for price to be up here. If this here starts to shift to the downside to bearish, then okay, in that situation, I may start looking for some sells. But right now, everything here is still pretty bullish for the most part. Looking over here at the overall trend here on the higher time frames are still bullish. So the 4 hour, 1 hour, well, the 4 hour is more of a mix, but the 1 hour and 30 minute here is still bullish. 15 minute here is still bullish. 5 minute here is shifting to bearish, and the 1 minute here is shifting to bearish as well. So it's pretty mixed with regards to the lower time frames to the higher time frames. And yeah, I'm looking for this to basically align. Once there's more alignment here with regard to the direction, I'll start looking for entries in that direction. But right now, the higher time frames are still bullish with regard to market structure. So not looking to take any sells here just yet. We got price breaking and closing below this area. There could be a possible retest. Not expecting the retest because the candle here is so big, but that's what I'd be expecting here if price does stay below this point. Brock said, I think based on the tool you were using at the bottom of your screen, I would cancel any need for the coder for what we have been discussing. It's wholesome. Yeah, I know. It's super helpful, right, Brock? I'm not using this for specific entries, and we wouldn't really need it for specific entries anyways, because you're marking up the breakage structure yourself, right? Like the breakage structure would be like breaking the lower lows, like these little price areas right here. And then looking for the change of character, we'd have like this area up here for the change of character. So if price was to swing back up, we'd be like, okay, change of character up here, and then break of structure right there. So yeah, this is what I was mentioning to you yesterday, Brock. I mentioned that I was trying to put something together here to help us with our confluences. Because the thing is, we don't trade on these higher time frames anyways. We're trading on the lower time frames, and I'm just using these as confluences. Yeah, it's super, super helpful. You can use this to your advantage, guys, for whatever strategy you guys are applying. You don't have to be applying any of the strategies I'm taking. This is just going to help you identify the market structure and which direction to be looking for trades. Yes, it does. It does allow alerts, Brock. That's what's super cool about it. You can set an alert for pretty much everything. There's also a backtesting script that I'm trying to put together where I can use this tool. And then, so what I'm going to look for is like momentum signals in that direction. So it's super helpful. It's kind of expensive, but I think it's worth it. Once I make my copy of it, then we'll have our own tool there. It does help a lot. It looks at a lot of stuff that I don't typically look at. So I typically do look at structure, but I don't ever look at order blocks. I don't really look at volume in order blocks. I don't look at fair value gaps. I do look at premium and discount to some extent, looking at market profile and liquidity grabs. So the main thing I like would typically look at would be like structure, liquidity grabs, premium discount, and then maybe equal high lows. But this other stuff's like extra and it's just helpful because it helps us identify things at a bigger scope. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Brock said I am with the structure analysis. And I think that's a key thing, right? Because if you have trend plus you have structure, um, it does help with a lot of analysis. Like even though price here is dropping, I think this year is still temporary, and I think price will swing back up at some point. So that's what I'm waiting for. All right. So we got nothing here right now, guys. Price is dropping lower. This lower low is going to drop to this point right here. Again, I'm looking for this to swing back up. It's 707 right now. The overall direction of market structure here is a little bit mixed. So the 1 minute, 5 minutes bearish, 30 minute, 1 hour is bullish, 15 minutes neutral, and the 4 hour is neutral. So this thing's kind of dumping pretty heavy. Looks like PC was kind of spot on with the sells from earlier. Price here has been dumping ever since. Um, but I do expect a correction. So I do expect a correction to happen at some point. A lot of my screeners are looking bearish now. Yeah, a lot of my screeners here are starting to look a little bit bearish, which is fine. All right, I'm gonna clean up these zones here a little bit. Price is currently at. Yeah, so I'm gonna clean up these zones a little bit because they've been broken, so they're only somewhat relevant now. That one, that one. All right, so I got these here marked up. We got price hitting this structure down here below. Damn, this thing is really dumping pretty heavy. It's coming down now to this the sessions down below. I mean, either way, there's still is no entries here for me because there's no structure here that's getting broken and retested. Price broke below this lower low right here, never retested it, so there's no high-low break and retest at that point. The thing with this here that's going to concern me a little bit is the ATR. The ATR is a little high right now. It's at 30, right? It's a lot higher than what we're used to. The Dow's actually not down super. It looks like it's just correcting just slightly. It's currently at -6 points. It looks like it's been dropping for a while, and this should be down like pretty heavy, but it's not. Let's see how far price is pushed from the opening price. I mean, it's pushed down 200 points from open. We're currently at the Asia low right here. There's no entries in my direction, so either way, nothing for me to take. Let's see, Brock said, I think we are in the 1 hour demand. I'd like to see buys from the zone too. Yeah, I think it's around this area right here, right? This is the 1 hour demand, or somewhere it's in this vicinity, but it broke through it. So we'll see if this is a fake out, possible fake out from this area, reclaim above here, and push back up to open. I could see that happening, Brock. Because if you look over here again, it's still pretty bullish, right? 15-minute, 30-minute, 4 hour, or 15, basically the higher time frames are still bullish. So 15, 30, 1 hour, the 4 hour here turned neutral, but if it does push back up higher, it's going to switch back to bullish. Um, it's mainly just lower time frames here, the 1 and 5, which are bearish at the moment. Yeah, I think price is going to move back up. It's just a matter of time until it does. And that's what I'm waiting for here. I'm just hoping it happens sometime sooner than later because it's 7:12 right now. As you get closer to 8 o'clock right here, this is my cutoff for trading. So I tend to want to take my trades somewhere down the middle. Um, the ratings here are starting to shift bearish though. So 1 minute, 5 minute, 15-minute, 30-minute, all bearish at the moment. It wouldn't really matter if that was the case because there's no entries here anyways. So still going to be waiting here. Brock said, and even if it breaks, we'll be ready for it. It can run, just not hide. Yeah, 100%. So we'll see. I'll be waiting for it here. I mean, obviously, there's nothing here for me to take. There's no high-low break and retest because there's no lows here being established. Price here is just dropping. I wouldn't chase this though, right? This is the trap. Like, so I think there's a trap here being set. I think price is slumping more to lower in sellers, and then eventually price is going to flatten out, and we might just get a big spike back up. If anything, if price does spike back up, I'm expecting to spike back to this area here. Yeah, everything's bearish now with regard to market structure, with regard to my screeners. For the most part, it's bearish overall, but there's just no entries here. So even if you wanted to take a sell here, guys, you would need price to retrace up at least a little bit. Retrace up, establish a new high, come back below, and continue from there, which, is just not the case right now. All right. So now we just got price still slumping to the downside here. No retracement, just a continuation of a slump here as price continues to drop lower. Again, I don't recommend anybody chase this. I would just let it keep dropping. Yeah, I wouldn't chase it. If you're going to take a sell here, guys, I would wait for the retracement because this thing's been dropping for way too long. It's way overextended at this point. So if you measure from this high point right here down to this lower low, it basically has dropped 253 points with no retracement, like no real retracement. It's a big drop. There's a couple entries here that came up as price continued to slump down, guys. So I know if you guys are probably following over here, there was an MPSV2 that came up right there. So we had a sell signal retracement confirmation on this red candle. That's an MPSV2. I mean, I personally wouldn't have taken it because of the obvious reasons, but that was an MPSV2 that swept from that, or not swept, but pushed down from that area there. Look, Sam got in at 249. Nice. Yeah, nice sweep right there. So went for your typical 15, I'm assuming, or even 30. 15 to be safe. All right, guys, so I'm looking for, again, some sort of retracement here to come up, but still do not have that yet. All right. Guys, if there's any questions that you guys have, feel free to put your questions in the chat. Otherwise, we are going to keep waiting here. I'm looking for price to do something, retrace at least. So if I'm gonna look for some sells here, I want price to at least retrace. And then if I want price to continue pushing to the upside, I need to break structure above. All right, looks like we are still waiting here. No retracement. Price is still dumping down a little bit. The overall scanner over here is, I mean, for the most part, it's pretty bearish now. But again, I'm still not looking to take any sells until, we've got that opportunity. All right, guys, we got price sitting down here. Nothing going on. Let me move this lower low a little bit lower. Again, in order for me to take this as a high-low break and retest, I need price to actually retrace up a little bit. I need it to retrace up, then come back down, retest, and push down lower from there. I don't know how long this thing could keep dropping for because it's been dropping for a long time. It is still dropping here. The next target's going to be this London low. Looks like price is pretty much taking out all the lows. So it took out the highs over here, London high, Asia high, New York high. Then it came down and took out the Asia low right here. Now it's coming down to take out the London and New York low. So if anything, this is probably where we're going to see a possible turning point, right? You might see price come down here, grab the lows, and then come all the way back up. So just be careful. If you guys are looking to take the sells here, I mean, feel free to take them, but um, I mean, this is pretty much the end of the line here. I don't have any more structure down below. So if anything, this is as low as it'll probably go before it swings back up for correction. And it's not very far either. It's like 80 points. So it's enough to catch a high-low break and retest from this point, right? It's enough for me to high-low break and retest it, but that's about it. Let's see, Barack said it seems the indicator does not wait for the candle to close to establish rating. Yeah, the rating shifts based on the structure here. So like if anything here changes, like, right here we have structure, because it's not based off structure alone. If you're looking at structure here, you're going to just look at whatever the structure is. But if you're looking at where price is sitting, with the order block, or if it's sitting with the fair value gap or any of this stuff, it's based off like wherever price is sitting actively, like where active price is at. The structure here will be based off closes, but everything else is based off like where price is actually sitting. With the active candle. Let's see. So Rashida got in for a sell from 940. Yeah, that's a crazy sell right there. Rashida, you got in perfectly at the so you got in right at open basically. Nice work on catching that. Yeah, it looks like you caught the whole thing too. The price invalidated and it came all the way down. It's a crazy move. Let's see, 940. So that's a ton of points right there. You got in at 940, which is like right here. It's almost a 400 point move right there. Nice work, Rashida. It's a crazy drop. And this thing is trending super hard. I'm surprised it's trending for this long. So looking at the ATR is starting to slow down a little bit. It was closer to 30 earlier, and it is still dropping here. Still dropping in no retracement. If you guys are already in the position like Rashida, great, but I wouldn't recommend hopping it now. It's a little too late to get into this sell. Yeah, Barack said time to reanalyze for sells. The 1 hour supply is super strong. If it has taken out the demand around there. Yeah, I can see that. Let's see. Barack said, hey, Sean, notice how the bearish MPS V2s all hit. I believe the greatest confluence to them hitting is rejection off major demand and supply. Yeah, I agree. I agree too. Because you can see over here how it rejected off this point. So we had a nice rejection right here off the uh, structure, and it was followed by an MPS V2, which came down pretty nicely. So I agree. Yeah. Um, That's why I like to look at the structure here. So I look at the structure and it acts as a storyline, right? So I like to see if there's a liquidity sweep that happens. Like for example, there's probably a sweep that happened right here. Basically a sweep off structure, followed by the actual move and continuation in that direction. Lila's asking, what do you think is causing this plummeting? I mean, the only thing I can think of is really the tariff news. Earlier PC did mention like prices grabbing liquidity, which I did see it grabbing liquidity earlier when it was up here, but prices jumped even further. So yeah, I don't know. This is it because it's dumping so heavily and there's no correction here. Like usually if it in a normal market condition, like yeah, price would come down a bit, then it retrace up, then it come down further, retrace up, come down lower. But for this right here, I just, there's no retracement, so I don't see this as like a regular market movement. Because like usually people will try to buy the dip, right? You think about things psychology wise, the only reason something would dump like this is if something's happening behind the scenes or there's some sort of news event. The only thing I think about is really the Fed. So one is the Fed. The Fed is speaking right now, I believe. And I think that's probably what's pushing price down right now. So the Fed, and then they're also talking about the tariff stuff. But the Fed is probably because so when you see a slow roll like this, so you see how price is like slowly dumping, it's because there's something that's really like there's something behind the push. In a normal market, yeah, you'll see a trend like this, and that's perfect, right? This is like normal market. But when you see it to just drop like this with no retracements, it's usually because there's some sort of catalyst behind it. Yeah, Nick said Bostic has been negative about a lot of things, and he's been saying too. Yeah, and I agree. The Fed here, I mean, the Fed in general is just kind of negative right now at the moment because Trump keeps pushing for these rate cuts, but the Fed keeps saying that we can't do rate cuts now because if we do, we'll go into hyperinflation, and then we'll go into a depression or recession, right? So yeah, the Fed is speaking right now, I believe. Let me see. Yeah, we do have Fed Bostic. He's been speaking since 7 o'clock, and Fed Musolium. So in general, it could just be the Fed because these aren't big spikes to the downside, right? This is just a slow roll to the downside. And the structure here is just there's no liquidity down here, so it's not over here grabbing liquidity. It's really just following through with whatever is happening behind the scenes. All right, let's see. PC said his last level is at 169. Okay, well, we're there now, so. We'll see if it dumps lower. So basically the lowest level I can see price pushing down to is going to be the sessions right here. This is the London low and New York low. Other than that, there's nothing else down here. So none of that stuff will be based off technicals. Any movement lower will be based off whatever continuation is happening here. But everything's pretty much bullish now. There's just no entries for me to take. So looking over here, 1 minute, 5 minute, 15 minute, 30 minute is all bearish. 1 hour is still bullish, surprisingly, and the 4 hour here is neutral. Looking over here at the overall trend, obviously everything here is very bearish. 1 minute, 5 minute, 15 minute. Lower time frames are all bearish. Below the pivots, trend meters red, pivots are angling down. I mean, if you look over here on the 30-minute candle and the 1 hour candle, these candles are huge, right? Like this 30-minute candle right here, I mean, both of these candles together, in the last 30 minutes, prices dropped 345 points with no retracement. It's a huge drop right there, right? If you count the candle prior to it, it's dropped 463 points. It's extreme. That's why I wouldn't chase the sells here because I think price is overextended. It's ready to swing back up. So we'll see what happens here in a few. Sam was trying to get in at 125. Yeah, I mean, ideally I would have went for the 125 as well. The session's down there. We'll see. We'll see if it keeps dumping lower. But yeah, guys, if you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Right now, my overall scanners are all bearish right now, but there's no entries here for a sell. So again, right here, we didn't have a strong enough retracement. Like in order for me to take this as a high-low break and retest, I need to have a high first, right? Like I need this low, after this low to be established, I need a new high. There's no high here, so I can't take this as a high-low break and retest. At this point, it's still down. All right, so it looks like we might get that 125. I mean, we'll see. All right, looks like price is inching down to that area. Still did not get to that 125. All right. Let's see, Brock said, I know this seems wrong. Long shot. I think we're headed to 43,930. Okay, I mean, no, that you could be right. Like if we've shifted here, that could be the case, Brock. But I mean, yeah, who really knows, right? I do think price is going to correct back up, though. I don't think price is going to dump that heavily because, if you measure this here, this thing has dropped way too much. Like, unless there's some sort of black swan event happening or like some war or something crazy that's like really pushing price down, like tariff news, I don't think price is going to drop more than like 500 points is a pretty big drop for like a regular day. If we had something crazy happening behind the scenes, then yeah, okay, I could see this drop lower to like 43,930, like what Brock mentioned, but that's a pretty long shot, right? Because if it does get down to this point, Brock, then price would have dropped almost 700 points today. Like there would have to be some sort of catalyst to push price that far. I don't see any breaking news here, so like a lot of the stuff that's happening, it's just normal market movement. It could be like what could happen here is this could just be dumping for temporarily they're just looking to trap sellers. What I see here is they're looking to trap sellers, and I think by the end of the day today, the price is going to push right back up. That's just kind of where I see it. But yeah, I mean, there's a possibility that can happen, Brock. Like, say for example, in the next like an hour or so, say Trump has another update regarding the tariffs. If Trump does have an update regarding the tariffs and he slaps more tariffs down or something negative affects the market, then yeah, I could see it drop another 100 points. But yeah, other than that, I don't really see anything else here. So here's a couple of statements from Bostic. Bostic said it's been surprising how the markets have shrugged off price impact of tariffs. So yeah, like for example here, like Bostic, the Fed over here mentioned that like, the market should be reacting to the tariffs because there's a lot of tariffs that are being implemented and the market hasn't moved. So as soon as Bostic said that, obviously price here is starting to drop because people are starting to realize that these tariffs are not beneficial for us. Like they're not as beneficial as people may think. So I'm just looking at the little updates over here, the headlines from Bostic. Bostic said the jobs revision number raises a question of whether the US is still at full employment. So this is also bad news. Pretty much, this is exactly what's causing the market to drop. Everything here that Bostic has mentioned has been bad pretty much for the market. He's basically saying that, the market isn't reacting to the tariffs how they should be. Like price should be dropping further. It says here that the jobs data is not necessarily balanced. So it says here the July jobs report did cause a shift in thinking about how the Fed is doing on its employment mandate, which basically they're saying they're not doing well. Yeah, Bostic over here said, I have not seen signs of dramatic slowdown in the labor market. So the drops here are starting to make sense now because Bostic was speaking since 7 o'clock right here. All this stuff's basically news driven. Everything Bostic said is not good for the market. So right here, price started dropping at 7 o'clock. This is when Bostic was speaking. And it just kept dropping lower and lower and lower because everything he said here was not exactly good. If you guys want to see this, this is on Financial Juice. Yeah, the stress on lower income consumers has been building. Excess savings from the pandemic have been spent. So this here, it's showing that basically we're going to recession. It's showing that all the lower income people are losing all their money and they don't have any more money to spend. Uh, yeah, so again, right here, some inflation news as well. It says, I don't know how consumers would respond to another round of price increases. So inflation goes up, people would pretty much get screwed. Another one right here says jobs report was a surprise to everyone. The revisions were quite large, showing churn and turbulence in the economy. A lot of bad stuff here for the most part. Right here, Fed Bostic, small businesses also have less ability to absorb import taxes without raising prices. Again, not good for the market. Small businesses are feeling acute strains from tariffs due to narrow supply chains. Okay, so looking at the price drop here, I mean, basically from 7 o'clock until now, Bostic hasn't said one good thing about the market. So I'm just looking at all of these headlines right here. Here, Bostic mentioned, I feel businesses will continue adjusting to tariffs well into next year. That means that, we're not going to be like the market's just going to keep getting tougher and tougher until next year. Like this is not going to be resolved anytime soon. Again, right here, Bostic said, I'm skeptical that the tariff impact will be temporary. So he's basically saying that the lasting impacts of the tariffs are going to last for a while now. Yeah. So there's a ton of news here. If you guys want to look at this, you just go to Financial Juice. I didn't listen to Fed Bostic's announcements, but just looking at the headlines right there, all the important headlines from what he said over the last 30 minutes were all negative. So that's, in my opinion, I think that's what's caused this drop here. Because price was fine before Bostic spoke over here. Price was fine, right? It was up here, ranging, consolidating, came down, ranging, consolidating. As soon as Bostic spoke here at 7 o'clock, we started to have this slump right here with no retracement. We finally got a retracement right here, though. So we do have a retracement of a lower low, or sorry, lower high. So I think since Bostic is done speaking, we're probably going to get some consolidation right here. And then eventually I'm going to see a correction back up. I think people have reacted to his speech already and price is going to come back up at some point. Just a matter of time until it does. All right, so understanding the fundamentals, the Fed is not on board with the tariffs. They're not on board with what's going on with the market right here. So if that's the case, I'm expecting the market not to recover anytime soon. Yeah, not really gonna expect too much here. I think with this being the case, um, I don't think we're gonna get any interest rate cuts anytime soon. So a lot of people are waiting for that interest rate cut to happen. I don't think it's gonna happen until the fall. So no interest rate cuts for the summer, August, September, maybe next month. If not next month, probably October. And then if not, I think it'll happen in October, or we might not even have any cuts. I think we're gonna have at least one cut, but it's gonna be small, maybe like a quarter cut. Because I think that's the main thing that people are looking for, right? I mean, with the Fed, with what they're saying here, it's not looking like the economy's doing well or the market. So probably no interest rate cuts until October. I'd be surprised if we get one next month, but possibly one in October, probably a quarter, or it'll just stay neutral. All right, so we got price dropping further, guys. We're finally getting down to the New York low right here at 125. Not sure if you're still looking to get into this right here. Sam, but this is a possible sweep zone right there. 44, 125. Yeah, Sam said Trump's going to be speaking later. PC said it's interesting how I don't pay much attention to news because I see the same things happen all the time. Yeah, I know it's all baked in, right? It's a circus that we're in. Like right now, you'll see that Trump's going to speak later. We have all the tariff stuff happening. I can almost guarantee that when Trump speaks later on, he's going to say that he's came to a deal, right, with all these countries. It happens every 3 months whenever the tariff happens or like the tariffs are supposed to go into effect. Trump will come out of nowhere and just say, "Oh, we've agreed to these tariffs with these countries," and then we'll extend it again for another 3 months. Like I could almost guarantee that's what he's going to say. We've agreed to something, and then and then for the countries that he hasn't agreed with yet, they're just gonna have another extension. So August, September, October, probably it's a 1 or 2 month extension. All right, Sam over here got in for that sweep right there, got in and out very quickly for 15 points. Nice work, Sam. Yeah, so there goes that sweep we were talking about, guys. Sweep happened right there at the 44, 125 and hit his target really quick. Nice work, Sam. So nothing for me to take right now. So market here is pretty flat, guys. If you guys have any questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat, but there's just not much going on here. Big dump right there, guys. This could be a possible high-low break and retest if anybody's looking to take it. Only problem with this here that's going to make it a little bit tricky is the fact that it is going to be at the session. So if you guys want to take this right here, high-low break and retest is going to be at 44,126. Only issue is that it's going to be right at the sessions. Everything's bearish though, so it does look like a possible good entry right there. 44,126. I'm gonna keep looking at it right here and see how it moves around this area. I mean, if anything, this thing might not even fill it. So if you guys are looking to take the entry right here, this is gonna be a high-low break and retest at the 44,126 price point. It would have to fill on this very candle here. If it doesn't fill on this candle, there's not gonna be an entry. I mean, price is so far below, there's no market structure down here, so this would be a really long shot for me to take an entry at this point because there's just no market structure down here. I don't like trading in the middle of the open like this. I like looking for some sort of confluence, some sort of rejection. But again, it does not look like it's going to fill. It has to fill on this very candle right here. We've got 10 seconds left on it, and it's not looking like it's going to fill. So no fill there. This trade would have to be canceled and no entry. Everything is very bearish though, guys. So if you look over here on the 1 minute, 5 minute, 15 minute, 30 minute, all bearish. 1 hour is still bullish for some reason. I'm surprised it's still bullish. The 4 hour here is bearish as well. So everything here is pretty much bearish at the moment. Yeah, everything's super bearish. The 1 minute trend is super strong. All right, so nothing there, guys. Again, if you guys have any questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat. Otherwise, I'm not really seeing anything here happening for us. This thing's pretty far down at this point. Yeah, I don't see any other zones here. Clean that up. The next zone for balance will be down here. And I'm not marking up random zones, guys. I'm using, like I said, I have three charts open right now. So I'm looking at my other screen right here to see my zones on the higher time frame. I just keep it here on the one so I can see, but I have my zones marked up on the other time frames. All right. So nothing going on right here. The next supply or next demand zone is going to be down here, right below. All right. All right, no entries here. We're getting close to 8 o'clock, guys. If you guys are looking to take an entry, it's probably going to be this high-low break and retest off this lower low if it ends up coming down to that point. The volatility here is starting to get very flat, so probably not going to get that there. Again, if you guys are just joining in or if you guys haven't followed us for the week, I've only taken one trade for this week so far. I took in an orb entry right here on the on Tuesday. So I'm up currently 47,300 for the week. I haven't taken anything else. I didn't take anything on Monday, didn't take anything yesterday, and I did not take anything today. I wanted to take something today, but unfortunately nothing came up. And then we got a surprise here with this big drop to the downside. So the thing I talked about with a couple of people yesterday and throughout this week, and it's something that I keep reminding people, is that in order for you to be successful at trading, it's not necessarily taking every single trade that comes up, right? It's taking trades that meet your criteria and follow your trading plan. So if you can stick to your game plan and avoid as many losses as possible and scoop up your wins here and there, you're going to be profitable regardless, right? As long as you can stay above a positive P&L for the week, and you do that every week, you'll be positive by the end of the month, right? And that's really the key thing here is if you can stay consistent and not jump into random trades or don't overtrade and don't revenge trade and stuff like that, you guys should be perfectly fine. Like I didn't take very many trades this week. I took one solid overall trade and I'm pretty much good for the week. Ideally, I'd like to take another trade, but I'm not forced to take anything. It's all about discipline and consistency. Because like I would say, there's a lot of opportunities here that I could have maybe jumped into, but I didn't jump into them because they didn't meet my criteria. Like for example, there was no high-low break and retest here because there was never a retracement. So I didn't chase this here for a sell. I'm sure people here did chase a sell and they got lucky, price went in their favor, but it's not about getting lucky, right? Trading is about trading with skill and proper risk. So. Haven't taken anything myself today. There was a couple entries that did come up. So we did have the breakout, which came up right here. That was a full TP for the momentum breakout this morning. Again, the orb didn't come up today because it was overextended. So we had price did break and close past the orb right here. The entry was supposed to happen on this following candle, but it pushed up too far. So that's why I didn't take this entry here. This candle was too big. 79 points. My orb entry right here, if price ever pushes past my TP, I don't take it. My TP would have been right here at 40 points. And since this candle pushed past it, I considered it overextended and I missed right? I pretty much dodged a bullet here because this would have stopped me out if I taken it. So other than that, there is nothing else here right now. Here, let's see. So we got price dropping lower at this point. It's not at the lower low right now, but it is, or I mean, it is at a lower low. This lower low was not established because there was no new high. So there's not going to be a high low break and retest here. Uh, let's see. Let's see. Barack said, I think 9:30 is possible. Actually holding up to see if it will push that far in a day. Yeah, I mean, I'd be surprised if it pushes down that far. That's a pretty, actually, it's not too bad because if price does drop lower, we do have these demand levels down below. So it's a possibility. All right. So guys, it's about to be 8 o'clock right now. We're about 4 minutes till eight. Again, if you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. There's nothing I see here right now. Price is still dropping even lower. And check the calendar for today. There's no other news events. I mean, there was gas stock change that came out. It was negative right here at 7:30, but other than that, there's nothing else. The Fed's already done speaking, it seems like, unless Musoliam is still speaking. Let me go and just refresh this. Let's see. Yeah, there's no updates. It's just all the stuff from Bostic. Actually, Bostic is still talking. So Bostic said it's harder now to make policy decisions than it was 12 months ago. Risks to both mandates and are changing. Yeah, so Bostic is actually still speaking. So since the Fed is still speaking, price may continue to drop lower. Yes, there's actually like high impact stuff right here that Bostic mentioned. He said, I feel that one cut for this year remains appropriate. And that's just what I mentioned earlier, right? So I said there's probably just going to be one cut and it's probably going to be a quarter cut. So it'll probably happen later in October. I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon because they're not ready to cut anything yet. And he said, but there's a lot of data coming before the September meeting. Exactly. So not really expecting much, but price can possibly drop down to this lower level. Let's see, PC said I can see us sweeping 40 and continuing higher to the upside. Yeah, possibly. I mean, I could see a sweep here happen at any point, really. I mean, Brock's sweep here is at 943. What is it? 930? Yeah, so Brock's looking for a sweep here at 43, 930. I mean, I could see any sweep here happening. Eventually, I do think price is going to correct back up. Once the Fed is done speaking, I mean, he's still speaking right now, so and he's making some pretty big statements right here as well. So eventually, once he's done speaking, this thing is going to crack back up because people are going to buy the dip, right? That's just the thing. That's how YM works. If you look at YM on the 1 hour time frame, like look at this 1 hour candle, guys. Can you see how far this thing's dumped? This is going to have to correct up at some point. This candle is way too big. This is a almost 455 point candle. If you measure the previous one, this is almost a 600 to 700 point drop so far. So there's obviously going to be people buying the dip here because it's going to correct up at some point. So yeah, if you guys are looking to catch those sweeps, I mean, eventually it's going to push up. Or if you want a dollar cost average in, right, you can buy at these lows, basically buy at the low, buy at the low, buy at the low, and just wait for it to come back up because eventually it's going to come back up. I don't think market here is crashing or anything like that. It's just a lot of people are reacting to the Fed because they have a lot of bad news regarding the economy and the market right now. Yeah, so like what I said earlier, so see how this candle is so big on the 1 hour? This thing might spike all the way back up, at least to the halfway mark. So this candle is about to close in about a minute. It's 452 points. I can possibly see this spike up at least like 225 points, something like that, right? A correction right here. And then once it spikes up to that point, either a continuation back up or it's going to be a continuation back down. But I do see a retracement happening at some point. The hourly candle is now closed. We're in this new hour candle now. And you can see here, this could be the turnaround from this point. Yeah, Pablo said, please take Bostic to the park for a walk. Right. Once he's done talking, I think price here is going to correct back up. Um, and there we go. This is the new hourly candle. It's pushing right back up, like I mentioned. Yeah, PC said great way to create liquidity. Yeah, because now there's a bunch of liquidity sitting up here, right? So if it does swing back up, it can grab liquidity right here, maybe break through it and push all the way back up to open. But we'll keep that for another day. All right, guys, I think this is it for the day. Unfortunately, no entries for me here. We had a big slump in price right here, no retracement, so we weren't able to catch any continuations to the downside. There's also no retracement here with regard to momentum. It was just, it was just a back and forth market here. So, yeah, if there's anything else that you guys want me to cover, feel free to pop into the chat. Otherwise, I think this is it for the day. I'm not really seeing anything here happening. The overall direction of market structure right now is bearish. So what I would say here is if you're looking to take a buy, wait for the market structure to shift back up to bullish. Otherwise, you can look for continuations to the downside. So if anything, there might be a break and retest off this lower low right here. But who knows, right? All right, guys, I think that's it for the day. Again, if you guys are just joining in, there weren't very many entries here to look at for the day because we just had price coming down so heavily. For this market, this morning we had the momentum breakout, which hit full TP there for 50 points. We had a liquidity sweep. We had a high-low break and retest. We had liquidity sweep, MPSV2, and nothing along this line here. So basically, for the past hour, price has not really provided any entries because price has been dropping with no retracements. Looking over here at the orb, there was no orb entry for the day. The orb over here did fill on this following candle, but it was overextended. So we skipped that entry there, and there was nothing taken on that end. But all right, guys, I think that's it. If you guys have any questions, feel free to hit me up on Discord. Otherwise, today was pretty much a toss-up, which is okay. It's one of those days where this happens. This is just part of the market. So hopefully tomorrow the market's more directional and even. And if it's more balanced, we'll look for another entry to take before we wrap up this week. So, all right, guys, I'll catch you guys tomorrow. If you guys have any questions, hit me.